response from your side regarding if I'm audible or not. So just let me know if I'm audible. And like while I'm teaching, you can stop me at any point of time and you can ask me any questions regarding ITOM model and discovery. And when you like ask like a lot of questions, I mean, when you ask like a lot of new questions, it will be like a new learning for me as well as for you as well. So I'm looking forward to start this demo. So by the way, first of all, when we look into CMDB and discovery and service mapping, so most probably the one which is linking each and everything is discovery. That's why it's my favorite part. So these are the presentations. I think you can see my screen clearly. So these are the presentations which I made it for you, and I'll just share that with your organization, I mean organizer, and they'll be sharing that with you shortly. So, but I'm not going to go according to this presentation, because just reading out from the slide doesn't help you and me as well, because whatever which is put in the slide, you can just read it and you can just Google it and you can just get the knowledge. But what I'm going to teach you is based upon the experience which I gained daily in ITOM. So that is going to be completely different from these presentations, so on. So if you have any doubts regarding these presentations in the future point of time, you can just let me know that, so that I can clear that out as well. Okay, so I'll start with discovery pre-requirements now. So most probably discovery pre-requirements is not a complicated one. It just has three things. The first thing, the most important part of discovery, is mid server, which is a server which is used as an user interface between ServiceNow and the company, or on the person, or on the computers on which you're discovering. So this will be like a path for you to discover certain things. I mean, for example, if you're discovering a bunch of Windows machine, or if you're discovering a bunch of Linux machines, so this will be like a user interface for you as well. So when we take ITOM into consideration and like deep down getting into discovery, you'll be having three things kept in a linear model. First one would be the ServiceNow, second one would be the mid server, third one would be the employees. I mean, IT infrastructure or IT environment, or like any company. We can take any company, for example, X company. So these three things will be kept in linear model, and it will be transferring each and every data by 4 phases, most probably. So the first phase, we are going to look into the first phase now. The first phase would be the Shazam phase. Shazam phase, it's like it's a very simple thing. First of all, ServiceNow, it will be having an channel called external communication channel, which is called ECCQ, in which mid server will be keeping certain information on which it should be discovered, and from there probes and sensors will be probes and sensors will be using that information and will be discovering certain things from our side. So I'll be simplifying this in a very simple way, so that it will be easy for you to understand that as well. Okay, so first of all, I'll take something as an example, so that maybe I'll talk to you privately, like practically about this. So when we take ServiceNow, especially, and a company in between a mid server. So for example, a company has 100 computers. So you need to know how many computers we know how many computers they have, but we should know how many computers are Windows computers, how many computers are Linux computers, or not only that, we should know what are the applications which are running into it as well. So when we start discovering, it'll be like a small hint from my side. So first of all, a mid server will be asking for a port number. For example, it'll be when we initiate the discovery in the first phase, I mean the Shazam phase, the mid server will be asking for a port number from each and every computer. So knock knock, what's your port number? Knock knock, what's your port number? So it will be asking each and every computers. So depending upon the port number, depends upon the port number which we are getting as a response, we tend to know if it's a Windows machine or it's a Linux machine. So you guys understood? You have any doubts in it?
No.
All right, thank you. So I'll move forward now. All right. So as I told you, this is the first phase. So when you take the second phase, this phase is called classification phase. So first of all, in the first phase, we ask for a port number. So like depends upon the reply, we know that which machine is this. I mean, for example, if it's a Windows machine or a Linux machine or any other machine it is. So we will be knowing from that 100 computers, we'll be knowing how many computers are Windows computers, how many computers are Linux computers. So this information will be we will be getting that from the first phase, Sesam phase. In the second phase, which is called the classification phase, in which we'll be asking for certain things, something like we know, I mean, for example, if there are 100 computers, as I told you, so each and everything is a Windows machine. We know that from port number, each and everything is a Windows machine. So we know it's a Windows machine, but in Windows we have a lot of operating system, especially server workstations. We have a lot of it, so we don't know which operating system it is. So for that, especially, what we need to know from our side is we need to know what kind of operating system they're using. So for that, especially, they need a credentials, because without credentials they can't let you know the operating system. Even if it's a company, they will be having certain things, and that's why a mid server comes in place. We can just I mean, you can just let me know, you can just tell me that there is no use of mid server. Why you're keeping a mid server? You can just connect ServiceNow and the company's computer, and you can just get all the information by discovery. But why they're using a mid server is there is reasons for it. Because for example, if you take a company, or if you if you work in a company, you'll know this, there will be certain confidential information. Even they don't want any discovery to find that information as well, because it's so much confidential. The only manager or only the superior people in the company will know about it. So that's why the mid server comes in place. So they will be configuring the mid server according to the requirements. For example, they can access this folder, they can't access this folder. Whatever happens, they can't get access to this folder. You can just uh, you know uh, give the customization to mid server, and you can just build a mid server according to it as well. So according to the requirement. That's why mid server comes in place in between. And coming to the second phase, classification phase. So when we ask for the operating system, it won't give us the operating system until we create the credentials. So for example, if it's a Windows machine, we create a Windows credentials, or if it's a Linux machine, we create a Linux credentials from our side. So once we create a credentials, and the third thing would be the IP address, IP port range. So the three important things for discovery is mid server, IP range, and the credentials. So these three things are the most important part of doing a discovery. If anyone comes or like fails, you can't do a discovery. So starting with this, in classification phase, once we get the credentials, we tend to know what kind of operating system it is. For example, if it's a 2008 operating system, or it is a 2012 R2 operating system, whatever it is. So we got that information. So now we have certain things called like what is the serial number of the computer, what is the IP address, what is the MAC address. So the rest of the information, it will be carried out in the third phase. So could you understand it? I'll show that for you. Maybe if you have any doubts here, maybe seeing this, you can understand certain things maybe very much clearly. Give me a minute. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. The first phase will be the port scanning phase, which is called Sesame phase, which is also called Sesame phase. The second phase would be the classification phase, and the third phase would be the identification phase. So in this phase, we are identifying, I mean, what kind of computer it is. I mean, the further more information from the computer, like serial number, IP address, MAC address. Because why we are taking these information, in a sense, each and every computer, maybe they have the same kind of RAM, they have the same kind of no memory, but these four things will be so much unique in each and every computer, and it's why we take this identification. I mean, we take this identification as an entry for identification phase. So coming from the start, I'll start with from port scanning. So on the port scanning, we are doing a discovery. So we are keeping ServiceNow, mid server, and the company's computer parallelly, and we are starting a discovery, and we are asking for a port number. So once we know the port number in the first phase, we know what kind of operating system it is, and in the second phase, we'll be asking for the operating system exactly. I mean, if it's a Windows, what kind of operating system it is. So once we get to know the operating system, I mean, we won't be getting to know the operating system until we provide a proper Windows credential for it. So that will be one of the prerequirements. And in the third phase, now we are like moving into the important part, most important part. The first one would be the name. So once you do a discovery, normally a discovery, I mean, when you do a discovery, it will be getting saved in discovery status. The each and every step which I'm just performing, which I'm just letting you know, it will be getting saved in discovery status. And if you have any problem, if you have any error, or like you can just find out directly from the discovery status. So coming back to identification phase, in that identification phase, so we know those two things now: what kind of operating system it is, and what kind of computers they're using. So we don't know the extra information, the most probably the unique information, which will be getting identified in the identification phase, like uh, name will be completely different for each and every computer, serial number, IP address, and MAC address. These four things are the unique feature, I mean, unique things which will be completely different for each and every computer. Maybe you can ask me why we are like taking these four things as a consideration. Yeah, I mean, it's not like a default. I mean, it's like a default thing. We take these four things as consideration. But if you want to know like a lot more information, you can just customize the discovery according to it, and you can get that information as well. So my four criterion attributes, I mean, the default four criterion attributes will be name, serial number, IP address, and the MAC address. So in the third phase, we'll be finding out, and we'll be having the records of, for example, if it's 100 computers, we'll be having the records of 100 computers with the name, serial number, IP address, and the MAC address. And we know, we exactly know the operating system they are using. And in the fourth phase, we'll be getting to know the other information, something like RAM, ROM, the specifications, maybe if they have a graphic card, what kind of graphic card it is. Is it a AMD, or like is it Intel graphic card? I mean, it's not necessary anyways, but still I'm just letting you certain reasons of what kind of information it can get. Whatever information which we want to get, we can get it from the exploration phase. That much things we can customize in the discovery. So in the fourth phase, we'll be getting the other information, like what kind of applications they're using. For example, if they are owning a company and they're having 100 computers, if they're like everybody is using Zoom inside that computer, you'll be knowing that they are using the so-called Zoom software. So you'll be having the list of software which are running in the computer directly as well. So that will be getting identified in the exploration phase. So guys, any doubts? I mean, you can just let me know.
We are good.
All right.
Yeah. The question, I mean, like, how does this discovery work? I mean, like, first you said it scans, right, whether at the port number, and then it
yeah, port scanning.
Okay, and then it logs into that machine, or?
Yes, that's when no, I mean in the first phase it will be going through the port scanning method. I mean, as I told you,
Right.
you will be asking for each and every computer's their port number. So once we
Right.
get the port number, we'll be knowing what kind of machine it is. So in the
Right.
second phase, we'll be getting the furthermore information, something like operating system, through which we'll be knowing, whatever you said, we'll be logging in into the credentials, and that's why credentials will be the one of the part which will be completely important prerequisites in discovery.
So they need to have like a domain administrator credential so they can log into each and every machine, right?
Yes, and not only that, I mean, in discovery part in ServiceNow, when you install a discovery plugin, I think you will be going through certain things called credentials. When you type
Right.
in credentials in application navigator, you'll be getting an option called credentials. When you click on that, you'll be having lot of credentials out there: Windows credentials, Linux credentials, SSH credentials. I know very few of them. I did a discovery a lot more in Windows and Linux. We won't be doing other than that, most probably.
Okay.
So because as an employee, I mean, as a technical person, most probably 80% people, they use Windows. So most probably we'll be creating a Windows credentials and we'll be discovering it from our side as well. So we'll be logging in with Windows credentials, and then we'll be getting the other information, something like operating system. Yes.
Okay. So for practical purpose, I mean, like you're gonna do you have like a network, right? And then you're gonna show, is it in the cloud or you have your?
I mean, I have it in my cloud.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So anything
I,
else,
I had
guys?
just I just wanted to understand one thing, like how this mid server works. Like it will be on the client side, right? And like how this works? Is it does it work as a service or something? Like, can you explain me a bit more, like how this mid server works?
Sure. So mid server, it's like a server which we customize. I mean, for example, if the company, I mean, if they have a company and they want to do a discovery, they will be performing certain steps to implement the discovery, and that will be the first step they will be implementing is creating a mid server according to the customizations. As I told you, I mean, there are like a lot of there are lot of companies in which you will be having for which you'll be having certain confidential information which you can't share that with anyone, right? So according to that, they'll be like, once we get into the lab session, I'll be like clearly explaining you each and every information. I'll be creating a mid server from my side, and I'll be letting you know how to do that as well, and you will be creating that from your side, and you can ask me any doubts according to that there as well, because once I get into this model deeply, I can easily explain you certain things, because these things, whatever you said, it's like a small rough theoretical information, but it's, I mean, whatever your question is it, I mean, you're telling me, is it like practically possible or not? Yeah, it is possible, but I can just explain that only in the lab session, because practically I can explain that only in the lab session, so that it'll be easy for everybody to understand that as well. Okay.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. And other than that, I mean, whatever you asked for mid server, you will be having certain queue called ECC queue, external communication channel, in which from mid server you'll be getting the information and will be kept in the ECC queue. I'm sorry, I'll repeat that for you. I think ECC queue will be a queue. It's a queue which will be kept between ServiceNow and mid server. So in which ServiceNow will be getting the information and will be keeping that back in ECC queue. First of all, mid server will be taking certain information. For example, we need to do a discovery of first 100 machines. I mean, when you open a discovery model, you can customize it. You'll be having certain things called quick discovery, in which in quick discovery you can only discover only one machine with an IP address. But when you do a normal discovery, you can discover how many computers you want, right? So For companies who has only 100 computers, they don't have any problem. They can just do a discovery with 100 computers. But a company, something like a very big company like Facebook or Google or Deloitte or whatever it is, so when they do a discovery, they can't do it for lakhs and lakhs of machines. It will be taking so much time. So they will be periodically organizing it according to it, and they will be doing a discovery according to it as well. So that's when, for example, they will be doing first 10,000 machines first, and then they'll be getting back into the next 10,000 machines. So in that, when we do our first 10,000 machines, that information will be kept from the mid server to ECCQ, and that information will be taken from the ECCQ to ServiceNow, and will be returning back with whatever discovery information, and it will be kept in the ECCQ. So from the ECCQ, the mid server will be taking that information again and will be passing on to the client's computer. So as we see it, mid server will be a user interface between ServiceNow and the customer's computer. ECCQ will be the user interface between ServiceNow and a mid server. So could you understand it? I think I didn't confuse you.
So between the ServiceNow CMDB and the client computer you're saying, right?
No, I mean, I'll repeat that for you. First, the first one which is kept is ServiceNow, which is software, which is a tool. And in between, we have mid server, and we have a certain thing called client's computer in the third part. So which will be kept parallelly. Okay. And ECCQ is something like which is kept between ServiceNow and the mid server. And I mean the first two things, which will be kept in between ServiceNow and the mid server. ECCQ will be like a user interface. It will be like a communication channel between ServiceNow and the mid server. So you understand that now?
Yes, fine. Yeah.
Perfect. So any other question, guys? All right. Maybe I'll explain that in clearly as well. So when you take the first, I think I just left certain information out. I'm teaching. I'll just let you know that again. So in the first phase, I told you about the port scanning method, right? So when you in the first phase, I mean, when you take in the information, it will be asking for each and every computer the port number, right? So we'll be knowing if it's a Windows computer or Linux computer by the port number. Especially if it's a 135, it's a Windows computer. If it's 26, it's a Linux computer. So according to each and everything, we have certain things as well. So we will be considering that. So this number, the 135 number, according to that number, we'll be knowing what kind of operating system it is. So just left that details out. So I'm just completing it now. So this will be the most important part of each and everything. So these four phases. So on which a discovery which is done. So I just explained this in a very theoretical, in a theoretical way. When we get into lab sessions, you will be knowing how is this possible in a practical way. So most probably we'll be looking into discovery status. When you look into discovery status, you'll be coming across all these four phases. And if you get any errors or if you get any problems, you'll be knowing that directly in discovery status. And whatever it is, ServiceNow is a very great platform in which you can just find out the errors as soon as possible, and you can just eradicate that as soon as possible as well. Because most probably when we know where the problem is, the solution will be in like just a few steps away. Yeah. So other than that, maybe I'll let you know about certain other things as well. All right, let's digging into CMDB now then. So these are the 4 phases which I explained to you, and these 4 phases, these 4 phases in which a discovery can happen, it will be getting stored in a CMDB table, in which is called configuration management database. When you learn about CMDB, when you put in CMDB in Google, you'll be coming across a lot of things like something called configuration items, assets, certain things, which doesn't give you a proper meaning until you completely work on it, until you get a proper experience in it as well. So like with my experience, I'll teach you what is exactly a CI and an asset in CMDB. Okay, I'll start with this topic now. So CMDB, it's like something called configuration management database, which is a collection of assets and the CI. So I'll take something as an example so that it'll be easy for you to grasp it. So when you take a company, for example, when you take a company in which you have nearly 100 people working, you have most probably 100 computers as well. You won't be having 100 computers, you'll be having more than 100 computers, because as from company's point of view, they'll be thinking about having more, and like having an extra 20 computers. Maybe if they're hiring someone, they will just fit in easily. So these things, the computers, I mean the problem with the employees and the computers they're using, it will be dealt by CMDB. So for example, when you're joining a company, they'll be issuing you a laptop. For example, they are giving you a Macintosh. Okay, so they are like already having 100 employees, they're hiring 40 employees by, for example, by September. So they will be having certain information like how many laptops they already have, and how many laptops they are in use, and how many laptops they are having remaining. So the things which are in use are called CIs. Could you understand it? And the things, yeah, I think some, hello, I think I hear a question. Hello?
Yes, Prasanna.
Yeah. Uh, I couldn't hear you. I mean, you said something?
No.
All right. No problem. So that's what it is. So when there's like not much difference between CI and asset. Asset is something like when we own, but you are not using it properly. I mean, not properly. I'm saying in a sense. I'll repeat that in a different way. So you have certain things called asset, and you have certain things called CI. So when you take CI as a consideration, for example, when you have 200 computers in a company, and you have nearly 150 people working on it. So those 200 computers will be the total number of computers they are. I mean, we'll take something as laptops. So those 200 laptops will be like total number of laptops they use in a company. But and in that total number of laptops, they have 150 used laptops. I mean, they are using that laptop every day, each and every day, to for the production of the company. So that's what it is. So that's why it is called CI, configuration item. And these, the rest of the 50 computers will be called asset, which is there in the company, but they are not used, but they are ready to use when somebody gets hired in the company. So you understood this concept? So this is the concept between CI and asset. Maybe people who, yeah, you can Google this and you can just know the information, but people who have this experience, they they know this information very much clearly. That's the complete difference between CI as well as the asset. And that's how they have a table called configuration management database, in which they'll be having the total number of computers, the total number of CIs, total number of assets. And if they are hiring more than 100 people, they will be checking how many laptops they have. And if they are not having the perfect amount, they will be ordering that properly, and they will be having a team for it as well. For that, we will be using service catalog, certain things in Servicenow as well. So let's not getting into service catalog. So this is how CMDB works, and this is the main important part of the CMDB as well. So once you once we start a session, or once we get into the session, we'll be getting into deep with Cmdb, and we'll be getting into Cmdb IRE engine, reconciliation engine as well, and we'll be looking into Cmdb lab sessions, especially not only on Cmdb, we'll be looking into Cmdb health, which has compliance, correctness, and completeness, in which you'll be finding out how many datas you have. I mean, how many duplicate datas you have. You can just find out easily by remediating the duplicate task. So let's not get into deep dive. So these are the things I just want to explain it, and I think I finished it a lot soon than I expected. So if you guys have any doubts, like in between this discovery phases as well as the CMDB, you can just let me know.
Prasanna, are you going to explain event management in this?
I think we'll be looking into CMDB discovery and service mapping. Yeah, I mean,
Not
if
event
you want,
management.
yeah, if you want, I mean, you can just let me know. I'll take event management into consideration. I'll cope that in as well.
Because we need to send an alert to Servicenow to update a CI or to create a incident through configuration item like that, right? So I thought these three are interrelated:
Yes,
discovery,
these three are
service
the
mapping,
first.
event management.
Yeah, these three are the first parts of ITOM.
Mhm.
Very important parts of ITOM. Other than that, you have something called orchestration, and you have something called operation intelligence, and that is still in the implementation stage in ServiceNow. They haven't implemented it in a proper way, because nobody got any projects according to it. So when you get like a lot of more projects according to that, you will be getting more and more implementation. And you have something called CSDM as well, common services data model. So which I
Okay.
think in the next 5 years
Uh,
will be
all these are parts of this session, or
no
I mean, this
CSDM
training
is not.
course, or
No CSDM, it's not a part of the session, but if you want, I can just let you know the information about what I know about CSDM, because it's about sharing the knowledge. But the parts of the session is discovery, service mapping, and CMDB. And if you
okay.
need,
And
we can get event management in as well.
mhm.
Yeah.
And are you explain? Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
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 Apart from this mid server installation,
Mm-hmm.
the mid server clustering and mid server strategy, is these
Mm-hmm.
parts are covering?
Yes. I'll show that in a slide. Give me a minute. So discovery starts from here.
Yeah.
It's an ECCQ which I just taught you, and yeah, with server cluster, failover and load balancing. Yeah, the sessions covered here as well. And not only that, you will be I'm sorry, I'll be teaching you about the credentials part, the Windows credentials part. And not only that, we have something called behavior here, like same as credentials, like Windows credentials, Linux credentials, or like according to the operating system, we have certain things called behaviors, Windows behaviors, Linux behaviors, and we'll be teaching that. I'll be teaching that from my side as
Okay. Coming to
well.
discovery, do you have any network setup for lab sessions?
Yeah, I'll be
Can we
sharing.
get
I'll be
a?
sharing. Yes. You can just do your demo sessions on your lab, and you can just let me know if you have any doubts there as well in the like in the upcoming classes. Yeah. So once I
Yeah.
finish this theoretically, I'll be getting into practically. and I'll be starting implementing all these things, and I'll be giving you the lab sessions as well from my side, and you can just practice it and let me know. Okay, I
So
have
what
Yes.
like nearly 6 to 8 instances from my side, and not only that, we have 6 to 8 remote sessions, I mean BM sessions. I'll just share that with you, and you can just note that IP address down, and you can just work on it. Hello.
yeah, Prasanna, I have
Yes.
one question on the mid server issue.
Yes.
Say, for example, I'm trying to push a file from ServiceNow to mid server.
All right.
I can see the entries in the ECC queue, but the file is not transferred to the folder on the mid server. Where do I research on that? I mean, like,
No, I mean, like, I just want some clarification on this question. So when you do a discovery,
not in Discovery, just it's just a script which I'm not using Discovery.
okay. So I mean, could you repeat that question if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, I'm trying to export a file through a script from ServiceNow to mid server, location in the mid server, and I see those entries in the ECC queue.
All right. I
But
mean, some discovery is already happening, and that's why you are like that's why you are like letting me know that there is certain things in ECCQ, right? Because when you do discovery, ECCQ will be full.
no, I'm not doing any discovery. I'm just trying to send a file from ServiceNow to mid server.
Okay.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, like, where should I look for the, how do I debug this issue? I can see that entries in ECC queue looks okay. I don't see any problem, but the file is not getting transferred to mid server.
All right. All right. All right. Maybe I think you need to look into the mid server and see if it is properly configured or not. Because the first thing is, when you send a file from ServiceNow, if you don't see any fluctuations, or if you don't see any increase in, as you told me, the difference in ACCQ, then I think the file is not getting accepted. But if you see some fluctuations, or like if you see any difference in ECCQ, then the file is getting in, but mid server has some customization inside it, which is not accepting that file. Do you understand
Okay.
it?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, because once you start, I mean, once you create a mid server, you'll be having certain things called customize it. So you can customize it after creating the mid server directly, or else you can customize it later. But most people, most probably company, what they do is, like, they will be customizing certain folders, and they don't want us to discover any of those folders. They'll be taking care of them from their side, because it'll be having a lot of confidential information. Most probably, like, customization on mid server will work like this, like not dealing with any, not discovering any confidential information, or like certain things like that. I mean, even me, like, even being a developer myself, I won't be getting access to that file, because it's a very, very important file and that's why they have a mid server like in between it, and they'll be customizing the mid server according to it, and they'll be discovering only the things which they want to discover according to the requirement.
Okay,
And according to what you said, if there is fluctuations, or if there is difference in ECCQ, then you need to see how your mid server is customized, and see if the customization in mid server could get that file or not. Understood?
yes, sir. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. So any other question, guys?
Yeah,
So what will be the timings for
do
this
you require any
class?
scripting knowledge?
I'm sorry, one by one, please. Hello?
Person, do you require any scripting knowledge for this?
Yes, I mean, when you check in ServiceNow, everything has their own things, but when you take ITOM, there is completely different. It's completely different. I mean, comparatively to other models, comparatively to service portal, or comparatively to other models, in discovery or in service mapping, in discovery, most probably you won't be having, you shouldn't have been, I mean, like not dealing with more scripting part, but in service mapping, you will be having scripting part. In service mapping and
It's a
CMDB,
general
you'll be having.
scripting or okay.
I'm sorry.
I heard like shell scripting is required for discovery. Is it right?
Yes. I mean, yeah, it is required, but comparatively, when you take service mapping and CMDB in discovery, you won't be like dealing with a lot of scripting.
Okay.
But scripting is necessary. Yes, it's completely necessary here.
And how many days it will take for this ITOM training?
I'm sorry.
How many days it is going to take this complete to complete this course?
I think it will be taking nearly 20 to 25 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it depends upon the training. I mean, if everything goes well, if we have extras, we can discuss about a lot of things other than this as well. We can share a lot of knowledge other than this, and it depends upon the training. Yeah, it depends upon the training and the lab sessions. It's about not about the hours which we spend. It's about the knowledge which we get, the knowledge which is getting transferred.
Okay.
Yeah, but most
So
probably you'll
Prasanna,
be,
you will be
yeah.
please go ahead.
Yeah, so most probably you'll be having a session of 20 hours to 25 hours from my side. Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah, that's what I was meant to say.
So Prasanna, you will be showing the demo on the latest latest release of Orlando, or like?
Yes, I'll be having, I mean, this is completely different. I mean, this is a complete different PPT which I used to give trainings, but when I take something as an Orlando version, when I'll be discussing a new update in ServiceNow, especially ServiceNow discovery. So we have something called low code, no code things going on, especially after this knowledge 2020. You have come across this knowledge 2020, right?
Okay.
Which
Okay, and
yeah. So yeah, so I'll be having a slide for it, and I'll be letting you know certain things which got changed in Orlando. Most probably there's no much changes, but we have like certain little changes which can influence the environment.
okay, fine. And for practicing at our end, like for the service mapping and mid-server setup, do we need any high credentials like HI credentials or something to set up the service login in our personal instance?
No, I mean, in your personal instance, you don't need any credentials, sir. I mean, when you discover, I mean, when you do a project, you need a credentials. When you discover your own laptop, you don't need any credentials. So there's no worry. You don't have to worry about it. And if you're like working in my VM instance, I'll be giving you the credentials. So that'll be easy as well. So you don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Thank you, Prasanna.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, any other question, guys?
What will be the timings?
Yeah, I mean, you can just ask the organization about it, and most probably I'll be having flexible timings. I'll be most probably taking the trainings and this point of time in the mornings.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you prefer. So, I mean, whatever you guys prefer.
Yeah, person, I have a last question. Can we access your labs after the completion of course?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat the question? I couldn't hear you properly. I mean, hello.
Okay. Can we access your labs
now we
after
are audible.
completion of this course?
I'm sorry.
Can we access your labs after the completion of this course?
Yes. The lab
Okay.
sessions, right? Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, most probably you'll be I think you should be having a personal instance, and each and everybody should have a personal instance. You can just get it free from developers.servicenow.com. So you can get that from there, and you can just start using that. You can just start clicking on each and everything, and you'll be having certain ideas. And when you have certain doubts, you can just let me know, so that we can share a lot of knowledge according to that as well. And yes, you can go through the lab sessions. And it's not about my instance. You can just directly do it in your instance. That's what the beauty of ServiceNow. You got all the demo details inside ServiceNow instance, and you can just directly do it through your instance as well. Maybe try discovering your own laptop and see how it's going. Maybe we will discuss that in our next class. It'll be much more interesting. So guys, any other question, guys, or else we'll wind up this session, and we'll move forward in our next sessions. I'll start with CMDB, and I'll move into discovery then, and then I'll from there we'll look into service mapping and then management as well. Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. See you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Prasanna, for your session.
Thank you, Prasanna.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, Richa.
Hey, hi,
Uh,
Nilima.
yeah. Yeah. Hi, Prasanna. Are you there?
Hi, Prasanna.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Hi, Richa.
Yes.
How are
As
you?
I told you, like customized
Yeah, I'm
curriculum,
good.
someone is.
Yeah, so
Great.
Prasanna, basically, I'm looking for the customization one training, like customizing the probes, identifications, and the patterns, how to write a pattern, all those things. I recently, I guess in March, I went through the ServiceNow these trainings from the vendor, and so I'm now familiar with these terms, and started working on ServiceNow recently, and things are like that. We have a task of customizing things in our environment.
All right.
Uh,
I think
yeah, so
they want you to discover new things. I mean, not
yeah,
the normal
additional
things, but the new
activity.
things, and that's why they need. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that by customization. I mean, we can do that through props and sensors, and not only that, we can do it through patterns as well. So it's easy. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I just wanted to, have some knowledge on, how to write patterns like that nebula language, what is the
Yeah.
basics for that?
Everything is
Like,
covered
yeah.
in this session, especially. Yeah. Maybe I'll do
Okay.
one thing.
Mhm.
I'll take your session as a different session, and I'll maybe take you deep dive into the patterns and the props and sensors. Will that be fine?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. All right. I'll help you with that. No problem.
Uh,
Thank you, Richard, for
okay.
letting me know that.
Yeah, sure, no
Hi,
problem. Thanks.
Richa. You can clearly
Yes.
explain what topics you have to exactly learn from the Prasanna. I mean, the curriculum
Okay.
which you're giving, that is only going to train by him.
Mm.
So, is anything left from your side? You have to tell now exactly, so that we can move further. I mean,
Okay.
you give the
Yeah, I
topics
think
and
the same one topics like writing patterns, probes, customization, basically all the customization things, whatever we can possible to do in discovery, those things I wanted to learn and do hands-on as well.
Okay, all right. We have a lot of things according to it. Maybe I'll teach you one or two, so that from there you can grab on and you can just let because through props and sensors, I think it would take some time because we have to create a prop, we have to create a sensor. It's like 2 months work, but in patterns you have normal customizations for each and every one of it, and if you need a customization you can create that as well. So I'll be
Okay,
teaching
okay.
you these three things according to it. So whatever customization they want from the client side, you can just easily help yourself from ServiceNow.
Okay, okay. So basically, my aim is to like we were earlier working with the BMC Discovery tool, and now we have migrated to ServiceNow tool. So the first aim is to achieve whatever patterns we have that on Discovery, we have to map it here on ServiceNow with whatever possible patterns or probes modification.
Okay,
That is
you're talking
the
about
aim.
migration.
Yeah.
All
Migration
right,
in the
all right.
sense like we have using different tools. I mean, earlier using BMC Discovery, now we are using ServiceNow. So
Yeah,
that is what we have to initially set up the foundation data and all those things. So whatever there we are doing in that tool, we have to get it
yeah, so
same
that
in
you
this
don't have
tool as
to go on for each and everything. So I mean, you can just customize it
well.
accordingly,
Yeah,
and you'll be getting the results accordingly as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
understand. Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
I can help you I can help you with that, no problem.
okay, okay. And how much time it will take to me to get through this all learning?
I mean, if you're asking about the models, I can just let you know that the timings. But if you're asking about the probes and
Mhm.
sensor patterns, I don't know until I don't know the exact timings. I don't want to give you any false promises, but I don't know the exact timings
Mhm.
until I learn it from. I mean, until I work on the model directly, or until I
Okay.
start the lab sessions directly. So I think I'll maybe let you know this shortly. Maybe I'll let the organization know, so that once they know about it, and they'll be letting you know from their side. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Sure. No problem.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Nilima.
Yeah, thank you too. Thank you, Prasanna. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see
so
you.
can we wrap up the session?
Yeah, we can wrap up the session. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sure. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
see you.
Bye.